intermission. The show runs approximately 55 minutes. We ask that you please stay seated for the duration of the performance. Additionally, please turn off all electronic devices. You don't need cell phones when you're buried 10 feet under the hill. Now, please, step back in time with us to 1890. We are going to a split second in time between earthly death and eternal life. The deceased citizens of Spoon River get one more chance to say something to the world before they pass on to eternity. Welcome to Whittier Christian High School's production of Stories from Spoon River.
The strong of arm.
The clown. The boozer.
The fighter.
All are sleeping on the hill.
One passed in a fever.
One burned in a mine.
One was killed in a brawl. One died in jail.
One fell from a bridge, toiling for children and wife.
All are sleeping.
Sleeping on the hill. Where are Ella, Kate, Mag, Lizzie, and Edith?
The tender heart, the simple soul, the loud, the proud, the happy one.
All are sleeping on the hill.
One died in shameful childbirth, one of the thwarted love,
One at the hands of a brute in a brothel.
one of a broken heart and searching heart to die. One, after life in faraway London and Paris, was brought to a little space by Ella, Kate, and Mag.
All are sleeping.
Sleeping on the hill.
Where are Uncle Isaac and Aunt Emily?
And old Tiny Pincay. And Savannah.
And Major Walker, who had talked to venerable men of the Revolution.
All are sleeping on the hill.
They brought them dead sons from the war.
And daughters whom life had crushed. And their children fatherless crying.
All are sleeping on the hill.
In life, I was a town drunkard, and when I died, the priest and I'd be burial in the holy ground. The witchery down into my good fortune. The Protestant body this lot and bury the body here, close to the baker Nicholas and his wife Priscilla. Take note, ye prudent and pious souls, the cross currents in life, who bring honor to the dead, lived in shame.
How does it happen, tell me,
Judge Summers.
that I, most erudite of lawyers, who knew Blackstone and Code almost by heart, and gave the greatest speech the courthouse has ever heard, and wrote a brief that won the praise of Justice Breese, how does it happen, tell me, that I lie here, unmarked, forgotten, while Chase Henry, the town drunkard, has a marble block topped by an urn, where nature in a mood so ironical has grown a flowering weed?
Georgie Gray.
I have studied many times the marble which was chiseled for me. A boat with a furled sail at rest in a harbor. In truth, it pictures not my destination, but my life. For love was offered me, and I shrank from its disillusionment. Sorrow knocked at my door, but I was afraid. Ambition called to me, but I dreaded the chances. Yet all I hungered for meaning in life. And now I know that we must lift the sails and catch the winds of destiny wherever they drive the boat. To put meaning in one's life may end in madness. But life without meaning is the torture of restlessness and vague desire. It is a boat longing for the sea, and yet afraid.
Cassius Huber.
They have chiseled on my stone the words, his life is gentle. And the elements so mixed in him that nature itself might have stood up and said to all the world, this was a man! Those who knew me laugh at this empty rhetoric. My epitaph should have been, life was not gentle to him. And the elements so mixed in him that he made warfare on his life in which he was slain. Slanderous tongues. Now that I am dead, I must submit to an epitaph graven by a fool.
Richard.
When I first came to Spoon River, I did not know if what they told me was true or false. They bring me epitaphs and stand around my shop and say, he was so kind, he was so wonderful, she was the sweetest woman. He was a consistent Christian. And I chiseled whatever they wished, all in ignorance of the truth. But as I lived among the people here, I knew how near to life were the epitaphs as they were ordered, as they died. But I still chiseled whatever they paid me to chisel, and I made this myself a party of the false chronicles of the stone. As a historian does, who does not know the truth, or is influenced to hide it.
My name used to be in the papers daily. Having dined somewhere, or traveled somewhere, or rented an apartment in Paris, where I entertained the nobility. cure at Baden-Baden. Now, I'm here to do honor to Spoon River, beside the family whence I sprang. But no one cares now where I dined or whom I entertained, or how often I took the cure at Baden-Baden.
Disgusting. I was not beloved of the villagers simply because I spoke my mind and met those who transgressed against me. With plain remonstrance, hiding, nor nurturing, nor secret griefs, nor grudges. The act of the Spartan boy is greatly praised, who hid the wolf under his cloak, letting it devour him uncomplainingly. It is braver, I think, to snatch the wolf forth and find him openly in the streets, and amid dust of howls and pain. The tongue may be an unruly member, but silence poisons the soul. Berate me who will, I am content.
Robert Fulton Tanner.
If a man could fight the giant hand that catches and destroys him, as I was bitten by a rat, while demonstrating my padding trap, my heart restored that day.
But a man can never avenge himself on the monstrous ogre life.
You went to the room.
That's being born.
Then you must live.
Work out your soul.
At last, it's finally you.
A woman with money you want to marry.
Prestige, place, or power in the world.
But there's a work to do and things to conquer.
Ah, yes, the word that screams of it.
At last, get in.
But you hear sack. The ogre, life, has come for you.
Hungry than plenty of the spring.
To watch you double the wondrous cheek, and stare you with his burning eyes, and scowl, and laugh,
And mock.
and curse you. Running up and down in the trap.
Until your misery bores him.
Whoever thou art who passest by, know that my father was gentle, and my mother was violent.
Henrietta Lady.
While I was born, the whole of such hostile halves, not intermixed and fused, but feebly soldered together, some of you saw me as gentle, some as violent, some as good. But neither half of me was what wrought my ruin. It was the falling asunder of halves, never a part of each other, that left me a lifeless soul.
Mrs. George Reeves. To this generation, I would say, memorize some bit of truth or beauty, and may so return in it. My husband was innocent. With the fall of the bank, he was only cashiered. It was the fault of Thomas Road, and his fame, a scrupulous son. And yet, my husband was sent to prison, leaving me with the children to feed and clothe and school them. And I did it! I sent them forth into the world of pain and struggle. And it was all through the wisdom of hope or poet. I have to tell you, there, all the other.
William and Emily Duncan.
There's something about death like love itself.
It's with someone with whom you have no passion.
The glow of youthful love.
You also
After years of life together.
feel the sinking of the fire and thus fade away together.
Faintly, delicately, and gradually, as it were, in each other's arms.
Passing from the familiar room.
That is a power of unison between souls like love itself.
Your red blossoms amid green leaves are drooping, beautiful geranium. But you do not ask for water. You cannot speak. You do not need to speak. Everyone knows that you are dying of thirst, yet they do not bring water. They pass by saying, the geranium wants water. And I, who had happiness to share, and longed to share your happiness, I who loved you, Spoon River, and craved your love, withering before your eyes, Spoon River, thirsting, thirsting, voiceless from chases of soul to ask for your love. You who knew me and saw me perish before you, like this geranium which someone has planted over me and left to die.
Herbert broke our engagement of 8 years when Annabelle returned to the village from the seminary. If I had let my love for him go, it would have grown into a beautiful sorrow. Who knows, filling my life with healing fragrance? But I tortured it. I poisoned it. I blinded its eyes and it became hatred. Deadly ivy instead of cleverness. And my soul fell from its support. Tendrils tangled and decay. Do not let the will play gardener to your soul, unless you are sure it is wiser than your soul's nature.
All your sorrow, Luis, and hatred of me sprang from your delusion that it was wantonness of spirit and contempt of your soul's right, which made me turn to Annabelle and forsake you.
Herbert Marshall.
You really grew to hate me for loving me, that I was your soul's happiness, formed and tempered, to solve your life for you, and would not. But you were my misery. If you had been my happiness, would I not have come to you? This is life's sorrow, that one can only be happy where two are, and that our hearts are drawn to stars, which want us not.
Pauline Barrett.
Almost the shell of a woman after the surgeon's knife, and almost a year to creep back straight. Till the dawn of our wedding decennial found me my seeming self again. We walked the forest together. If I had had the soundless mouse and her, but I could not look into your eyes. You could not look into my eyes. For such sorrow was ours. The beginning of gray in your hair. And I, but a shell of myself. What did we talk of? Sky and water? It was anything to hide our thoughts. And then your gift of wild roses set on the table to place our dinner. Poor heart, how bravely you struggled to imagine and live the remembered rapture. Then my spirit began to droop as the night came on. You left me alone in my room for a while, as you did when I was a bride, for a heart. And I looked in the mirror, and something said, one should be all dead when one is half dead.
Nor ever mock life, nor ever cheat love.
And I did it, looking into the mirror. Dear, have you ever understood?
Washington McNeely.
Bridge. honored by my fellow citizens, the father of many, born of a noble mother, all raised there in the great mansion house at the edge of town. Note, cedar tree on the lawn. I sent the girls to Rockford. I sent the boys to Ann Arbor, all the while gaining more riches and honors, resting under my cedar tree at evening. The years went on, and I sent the girls to Europe. I dowered them when married. I gave the boys money to start in business. They were strong children, promising as apples before the bitten places shut. But John fled the country in disgrace. Jenny died in childbirth. I sat under my cedar tree. Harry killed himself after a debauch. Susan was divorced. I sat under my cedar tree. Paul was invalided from overstudying. Mary became a recluse at home for love of a man. I sat under my cedar tree. All were gone, or broken-winged, or devoured by life. And me, the mother of them, was taken. I sat under my cedar tree. Till 90 years were told. Roll maternal earth drops the fallen leaves.
Mary McNeely. Passerby, to love is to find yourself through the soul of the beloved one. And when the beloved one withdraws itself, then you've lost yourself. It is written, I have a friend, but my sorrow has no friend. Hence the long years of solitude at the home of my father, trying to get myself back and to turn my sorrow into a supremer self. But there was my father with his sorrow, sitting underneath the cedar tree. A picture that sank into my heart at last, bringing infinite repose. Oh, ye souls, who've made life white and fragrant as tube roses from the earth's dark soil. Eternal peace. Did the boys and girls still go to Sabres for cider after school in late September?
Gather hazelnuts, no mistake, on the blossom across the fields.
Many times the laughing girls and boys walked by on the road. And over hills, the sun was low and the air was cool.
And stopping to club the water tree.
Now, the smell of autumn smoke and the dropping acorns.
And the echoes of the vales bring dreams of life.
They hover over me.
They question,
Where are those laughing comrades?
how many are with me? How many? In the old orchard along the way to Seaver, and in the woods that overlook the quiet water. Some bright morning when this life is over, I'll fly away. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away.
I loathed you, Spoon River. I tried to rise above you. I was ashamed of you as the place of my nativity. But there in Rome, among the artists, speaking Italian and speaking French, it seemed as if to myself at times to be free of every trace of my origin. I seemed to be reaching the heights of art and to breathe the air that the masters breathed and to see the world through their eyes. Still, they'd pass by my work and say, "What are you driving at, friend?" At times the faces like that of Lincoln's and at others that of Apollo's. There's no culture, you know, in Spoon River. And I burned with the shame and held my peace, for what was I to do all covered over with Western soil, except aspire and pray for another birth in this world, with all of Spoon River rooted out of my soul.
Lady King, you may think, passerby, that fate is a pitfall outside of itself, around which you may walk by means of wisdom and foresight. Thus you believe viewing the lives of other men, as one who is in godlike fashion bends over an anthill, seeing how their difficulties could be avoided. But pass on into life. In time you shall see fate approach you, in the shape of your own image in the mirror, or you shall sit alone by your own hearth, and suddenly the chair beside you shall hold a guest, and you shall know that guest, and read the authentic message of desire.
Joni Sayer.
Mother, thou canst know the anguish for my disobedience, the moment that remorseless wheel hit the crying flesh of my leg. As they were carrying me to the widow Morris, I could see the schoolhouse in the valley, to which I played truant to steal the rides upon the trains. I prayed to live until I could ask for your forgiveness. And then your tears, your broken words of comfort. From the solace of that hour I have gained infinite happiness. Thou wert wise to chisel for me, taken from the evil to come.
Nancy Knapp.
What have you seen this buzz away? We bought the farm away he inherited, and his brothers and sisters accused him of poisoning. His father's money there to arrest him, but we never had any peace with their treasury. The Marine took the cattle, the crop failed, and the lightning struck the granary. So we learned his farm to keep growing, and he grew sighing and worried all the time. Then some of the neighbors refused to speak to us and took sides with his brothers and sisters. I had nobody to turn to, as one may say to himself at an earlier time in his life. No matter so-and-so's my friend, or I can shake this off with a little chicken back to it. Then the dreadful smells infested the rooms. So I set fire to the beds. And the old witch opened up with a raw leg, and I danced the apple waving on, and he stood there and wept like a freezing seer.
Sarah Compton. When I died, the circulating library, which I had built up for Spoon River and managed for the good of inquiring minds, was sold at an auction on the public square. As if to destroy my last vestige of memory and influence. And for those of you who could not see the virtue of knowing purpose of knowing evil in this world. Well, I am out of your way now, Spoon River. Choose your own good and call it good. For I could never make you see that no one knows what is good who knows not what is evil. And no one knows what is true who knows not what is false.
I was 16.
Venus Whit.
I had the most terrible dreams and nervous weakness. I worried. I was embarrassed to stammer my lessons. And when I stood up to recite, I forgot all that I had studied. Well, I saw Dr. Weiss's advertisement. There, I read everything in print, just as if he had known about the dreams that I couldn't help. So, I knew I was marked for an early grave. I worried until I got a cough, and then the dreams they stopped. And then I started to sleep without dreams, here on the hill by the river.
Amanda Baker.
Henry got me the child, knowing that I could not bring forth life without losing my own. In my youth, therefore, I entered the portals of death. Traveler, it is believed in the village where I live that Henry left me with a husband's love. But I proclaim to you that he slew me to gratify his own hatred. Edith Onek.
We stand about this place,
We,
the memories,
and shade our eyes because we dread to read.
June 17, 1884, aged 21 years and 3 days, and all things are changed.
And we,
the memories, stand here ourselves alone. For no eye marks us, or we know why we are here.
Your husband is dead.
Your sister was Orway.
Your father's bent with age, he has forgotten. He scarcely leaves the house anymore. No one remembers your exquisite face, your lyric voice, how you sing,
Even on the morning you were stricken.
with piercing sweetness, with thrilling sorrow.
for the advent of the child which died with you.
It is all forgotten, saved by us,
The memories.
who are forgotten by the world. All is changed, save the river and the hill.
Even they are changed.
Only the burning sun and the quiet stars are the same.
We, the memories, stand here in awe, our eyes closed with the weariness of tears, in immeasurable weariness.
Lydia Puppet.
Notes Wilhelm ran away the day before Colonel Trenery swore a warrant through Justice Arrant for stealing hogs. But that's not the reason he turned a soldier. He caught me running with Lucius Atherton. We quarreled and I told him never again to cross my path. Then he stole the hogs and ran to the war. Back of every soldier is a woman.
I was the first fruits at the Battle of Missionary Ridge.
Note Hohenheimer.
When I felt the bullet enter my heart, I wish I just stayed home and got in jail for stealing the hogs of Colonel Trenery instead of running away and joining the army. Rather, 1,000 times county jail. It would lie under this marble figure with wings, granite pedestal, bearing the word Pro Patria. What does that mean anyway?
Harry Williams. I was just turned 21. And Henry Phipps, the Sunday school superintendent, gave a speech in Bindle's Opera House.
The honor of the flag must be upheld, whether it be assailed by a barbarous tribe of Tagalogs or the greatest power in Europe.
We all cheered and cheered his speech, and the flag he waved as he spoke. I went to the war in spite of my father, and followed the flag until I saw it raised by our camp in a rice field near Manila. And we all cheered and cheered it. But there were the flies and the poisonous things, and there was the deadly water and the cruel heat, and the sickening, putrid food, to the hour of the charge through the steaming swamp, till I fell with a scream, shot, guts. Yeah! Now, there's a flag over me in Spoon River. A flag. A flag.
His truth is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Christ was born across the sea with the glory, his bosom that transfigured me. As Christ died, sweet and holy, let us die to make men free. While God is marching on.
Mrs. Kessler.
Mr. Kessler, you know, was in the Army, and he drew $6 a month as pension, and stood on the corner talking politics, or sat at home reading Grant's memoirs. And I supported the family by washing, learning the secrets of all the people, from their curtains, counterpanes, shirts, and skirts, for things that are new, for old at length. They're replaced with better, or none at all. People are prospering or falling back, and rents and patches widen with time. No thread or needle can paste decay, and there are stains that baffle soap, and there are colors that run in spite of you. Blame though you are for spoiling a dress. Handkerchiefs, napery, have their secrets. The laundress life knows all about it. And I, who went to all the funerals held in Spoon River, so I never saw a dead face without thinking it looked like something washed and ironed.
Granville County.
I wanted to be county judge. One more term so as to round out a service of 30 years. But my friends left me, and they went with my enemies. And they elected a new man, and a spirit of revenge infected me. And I infected my 4 sons with it.
I reached the highest place in Spoon River,
Henry C. Calhoun.
but through what bitterness of spirit.
And I brooded upon retaliation, until the great physician, nature, smote me through with paralysis to give my soul and body a rest.
The face of my father, sitting speechless, he was childlike, watching his canaries and staring out the courthouse window of the county judge's room.
Did my sons get power and money?
admonitions to me to seek revenge on the people of Spoon River for the wrong they did him filled me with furious energy to seek for wealth and to seek for power.
Did they serve the people or yoke them to till and harvest fields of
But
self?
what did he do but send me along the path that leads to the grove of the Furies?
For how could they ever forget my face in my bedroom window, alongside my singing canaries, staring at the old county judge's room?
I followed the path, and I tell you this. On the way to the grove, you'll pass the fates. Shadow-eyed, bent over their weaving. Stop for a moment, and if you see the thread of revenge leap out of the shuttle, then quickly snatch from Atropus the shears and cut it, lest your sons and their children and their children wear the envenomed robe.
Apple forward. I would I had thrust my hands of flesh into the disk flowers being pressed into the light of life, the sun of delight. But what are anthers worth the hero rays or petals? Mockeries, shadows of the heart of flowers, the central flame. All is yours, young pastor. You enter the banquet room with the thought. Don't sidle in as if you're doubtful. Whether you're welcome, the feast is yours. Leave no balconies where you can climb, nor wine cup for the wine sweet, nor ecstasies of body or soul. You will die, no doubt, but die while living, in depths of azure wrapped and maiden, kissing the queen bee.
Miss Alexis Throckmorton.
In youth, my wings were strong and tireless, but I did not know the mountains. In age, I knew the mountains, but my weary wings could not follow my vision. Genius is wisdom in youth.
Lucinda Matlock.
I went to the dances at Chandlerville and played Snap Out at Winchester. One night, we changed partners. Riding home in the moonlight of middle June. And then, I found Davis. We were married and lived together for 70 years, enjoying, working, raising the 12 children, 8 of whom we lost. Ere I had reached the age of 60, I spun, I wove, I kept the house, I nursed the sick, and for holiday, rambled about the field which sprang the lark, and by Spoon River, gathering many a shell and many a flower and medicinal weed, shouting to the wooded hills, singing to the green valleys. At age 96, I lived enough, and that is all, and passed to sweet repose. What is this I hear of sorrow and weariness? Anger, discontent, and drooping hopes? Degenerate sons and daughters. Life is too strong for you. It takes life to love life.
There's no sickness or danger.
I'm going home to see my Savior.